The discovery is completely unique. We have terracotta servants who could serve him.
They also find the head of the terracotta warriors. And the archaeological team came to this area and they start to dig.
For decades, the Terracotta Army has stood as one of the world's most astonishing archaeological wonders, an entire underground legion of clay soldiers guarding secrets that slept beneath the earth for more than 2,000 years. But in 2025, a stunning new breakthrough shook the scientific community and overturned long-held assumptions. What emerged from the ancient soil wasn't just a relic of the past. It carried an unsettling message, a warning that hinted the Terracotta Army's true purpose might have been far more ominous than anyone ever imagined. The accidental discovery. The story begins in March 1974. During a harsh and unforgiving drought in Xiyang village near Xi'an, in China's Shanxi province. The land was bone-dry. Deep cracks split the dusty ground. Local farmers, already living humble lives, found their crops shriveled and their wells empty. There were no bustling markets or tall buildings here, just a quiet rural village where families survived on what little the soil could offer. Young Jifa, a hard-working farmer, was among those fighting to keep his family fed. Hoping to find water, he and his brothers chose a barren patch of land to dig a new well. With each strike of their shovels, they pushed deeper into the stubborn earth, unaware that they were moments away from uncovering one of the greatest archaeological treasures ever found. Standing on that dry patch of ground, they had no idea they were digging into history itself. The digging went slowly. The earth was hard, dry, and stubborn. But just a few feet down, something strange began to surface. At first, it was only pieces of pottery, nothing surprising for a region layered with thousands of years of history. Then came bronze arrowheads. The men still assumed they had uncovered old village ruins or perhaps some forgotten graves. Young Jifa even joked that they might end up cursed for disturbing the dead. But then they uncovered something no one expected, an earthen head, sculpted with eerie realism, its expression stern and unblinking. As they dug deeper, more pieces emerged, a torso, a leg, a hand still curved as if gripping a long-lost weapon. Nothing they were seeing made sense. These weren't the rough, simple statues found in temples or shrines. These figures were different, far more detailed, nearly life-sized, crafted with a level of skill none of the farmers had ever seen. What were they doing beneath an ordinary farmer's field? Local officials were notified, and soon archaeologist Zhao Kongmin arrived. The moment Zhao examined the fragments, he knew this discovery was extraordinary. This wasn't a single statue, it was part of something much bigger. As more pieces came out of the dirt, Zhao's excitement only grew. Each figure had a unique face, a distinct hairstyle, a different pose. These were soldiers, an entire army, created long ago with incredible craftsmanship and purpose. Word spread quickly, and the quiet village of Xi'an suddenly became a hive of activity. Government teams, scholars, and workers flooded the area. The same farmers who once planted crops in the field now watched in amazement as tools and machinery dug deeper into the ground, revealing row after row of terracotta warriors standing in perfect military formation. Many still held weapons, others stood poised as if awaiting a command. Their armor, hairstyles, and even the folds in their clothing were carved with stunning precision. The villagers looked on, awestruck and bewildered, by the sight rising from the earth beneath their feet. How could something so enormous remain hidden beneath their feet for so many centuries? The land the villagers had walked across every day suddenly felt sacred, mysterious. What they once thought was nothing more than farmland was now revealed to be part of a massive underground complex, built with resources, manpower, and ambition beyond anything they could imagine. In that moment, everything changed, not only for the people of Xi'an village but for the entire nation. That dry, forgotten patch of earth had become the entrance to one of the greatest archaeological treasures ever uncovered. What began as a simple act of survival, digging a well in search of water, led to the discovery of an entire army, perfectly preserved in clay, hidden for over 2,000 years beneath Chinese soil. As archaeologists expanded the excavation, they uncovered even more pits filled with officers, archers, chariots, and life-sized horses. But it had all started with a drought, a shovel, and a farmer desperate for water. Yang Jifa never imagined he would find warriors instead. This accidental discovery opened the door to the Terracotta Army, thousands of life-sized clay soldiers crafted to guard the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. And naturally, one question arises: who was Qin Shi Huang, and what kind of ruler needed an entire army made of clay to protect him in the afterlife? The emperor's vision, Qin Shi Huang, born in 259 BCE, remains one of the most powerful and controversial leaders in Chinese history. He started as the king of the Qin state and, by 221 BCE, after centuries of brutal warfare between competing kingdoms, he succeeded in unifying China for the first time. But his ambitions didn't stop at political victory. He wanted to reshape China into a unified, lasting empire that would endure long after his death. To achieve this, he launched sweeping reforms that touched nearly every part of daily life. He standardized weights and measures so trade could move smoothly across the vast territory. He enforced a uniform written script, allowing laws, messages, and orders to be clearly understood throughout the empire, no matter the region. Qin Shi Huang ruled with a firm and often brutal hand. He believed strict laws and severe punishments were the only way to maintain control. To shape the empire according to his vision, he ordered the banning and burning of historical texts that disagreed with his ideas. Scholars who resisted faced harsh consequences, from forced labor to execution. Yet, despite his unforgiving methods, many of his reforms helped establish the foundation of a unified Chinese state that would endure for centuries. But what truly set Qin Shi Huang apart from other rulers was his deep, consuming fear of death. Ancient records describe him as obsessed with immortality. He sent explorers and envoys across distant seas, searching for magical herbs and elixirs rumored to grant eternal life. He tried strange potions and relied on alchemists, hoping one of them might hold the secret to living forever. When it became clear that eternal life in the physical world would never be his, he turned to another idea, achieving absolute power in the afterlife. This obsession sparked one of the most ambitious burial projects in human history. Near what is now the city of Xi'an, he ordered the construction of his final resting place. No ordinary tomb, but an entire underground kingdom. He imagined a silent replica of his empire, a world where his authority would continue untouched for eternity. From this vision, the Terracotta Army was created. Thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, complete with armor, weapons, chariots, and horses, were designed to protect his spirit from threats and to serve him in the world beyond. Each figure was unique, with its own facial expression, hairstyle, and clothing, as if modeled after real warriors. The craftsmanship was extraordinary, sending a clear message. Qin Shi Huang intended to be remembered, respected, and feared long after his death. The tomb itself, which remains largely unexcavated, holds even greater mysteries. Ancient writings suggest it contains flowing rivers of mercury to represent water, grand palaces built of stone and bronze, and countless treasures meant to accompany the emperor on his eternal journey. Though Qin Shi Huang's reign was relatively short, he died in 210 BCE, his impact was enormous. He ruled with an iron fist, but he also united a fractured land, created order, and gave China a shared identity. His dream of immortality didn't unfold the way he expected, yet in another sense, it did come true. His legacy endures, his achievements are still studied, and his vast tomb remains one of the most remarkable archaeological wonders ever unearthed. This brings us closer to understanding the mind of a ruler who reshaped history, not only through conquest and political power, but through his extraordinary effort to build an empire that would last forever, hidden beneath China's soil. But the story doesn't end with statues and silent chambers. There is much more buried down there, and some of the most chilling secrets lie within the mausoleum itself. The Mausoleum Secrets. Beneath the gentle hills near Xi'an, buried under layers of earth and silence, rests the mysterious mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. Ancient historians described it not simply as a tomb, but as an immense underground empire designed to mirror the world above. According to old records, more than 700,000 people, craftsmen, laborers, and even convicted criminals, were forced to work on the project. The mausoleum was built like a colossal underground palace, a place where the emperor could continue ruling in the afterlife with the same luxury and authority he enjoyed in life. Its layout was said to include grand halls, tall towers, and living quarters. But what truly set it apart were the incredible details. The ceiling was decorated with precious gems and pearls arranged to mimic the night sky, capturing the stars and constellations exactly as they appeared above. The ground below was shaped into mountains and valleys, with flowing rivers made not of water but of mercury, a substance believed to possess magical and life-prolonging qualities. These rivers of mercury, according to ancient texts, were designed to move, guided through a complex network of channels and early mechanical systems. The emperor's world was never meant to be still, not even in death. He believed that with such an elaborate design, he could continue ruling, dreaming, and protecting his empire in a realm beyond life. Ancient records even hint that the officials involved were sworn to secrecy, and many of the workers who built the tomb may never have been allowed to leave, their lives sacrificed to protect its mysteries. The mausoleum was said to be filled with traps. Some accounts describe automatic crossbows designed to fire at anyone who entered. Poisonous mechanisms and hidden pits may have been installed to stop robbers from ever reaching the inner chambers. Qin Shi Huang planned everything with an eerie mix of precision and paranoia, determined that no one would disturb his eternal world. At the heart of the complex lay the emperor's coffin, believed to be cast from bronze and resting on a bed of precious stones. Surrounding him were treasures of every kind: gold, jade, ceremonial objects, and artifacts symbolizing his power. According to ancient texts, many of his childless concubines were sealed inside the tomb with him, buried alive as a final act of devotion. Some ministers and guards may have suffered the same fate, trapped forever in the underground palace to serve their emperor for eternity. After his death, the tomb was sealed completely and covered by a massive burial mound. Over the centuries, it blended into the natural landscape, becoming just another hill, quiet, unassuming, and hiding one of the world's greatest secrets beneath its surface. No passerby would ever guess that an entire hidden kingdom lay buried below. While many ancient tombs were plundered over the centuries, this one remained untouched, perhaps because people feared its deadly traps, or simply because breaching its defenses was nearly impossible. The surrounding land had once been heavily supervised, filled with worker camps and even entire towns during its construction. The mausoleum wasn't just a tomb, it was the heart of a sprawling complex that may have stretched for miles. Roads and walls connected it to the ancient capital, and nearby pits held thousands of life-sized clay warriors, the Terracotta Army, stationed to guard their emperor in death, just as they would have in life. These details survived in old written records, passed down through generations. But for centuries, the tomb itself remained unseen, buried, forgotten, more myth than memory. It became far more than a burial site. It stood as the ultimate symbol of one man's limitless ambition, a ruler who believed he could conquer life and death, command the heavens, and shape rivers that would never run dry. But just when it seemed the ancient silence would last forever, a new discovery shook the world. The Terracotta Army was about to reveal secrets that had been hidden for more than 2,000 years, raising questions no one expected. A shocking rediscovery. In early 2025, a discovery stunned archaeologists and reignited global fascination with the Terracotta Army. Dr. Mei Lin, a highly respected archaeologist who had spent more than 15 years studying the site, recounted the moment with a trembling voice. "I've seen thousands of figures," she said, each with its own face and story. But this one was different. It began during a routine excavation near the southern edge of Pit 1. Dr. Lin's team, joined by young researcher John Shu, was carefully brushing away layers of soil when John's tool struck something unusual. Instead of the typical dull brown terracotta surface, this fragment glimmered faintly in the light, as though an ancient color was trying to shine through centuries of dust. What they uncovered next was unlike anything discovered before. Rising from the earth was the figure of a towering general, sculpted with extraordinary precision, and dressed in armor far more elaborate than anything seen before in the Terracotta Army. His breastplate was etched with detailed dragon motifs, and his boots weren't simple like those of the infantry. They were decorated with symbols that historians later connected to high-ranking military command. Most striking of all was his headdress, a crown-like piece that still shimmered faintly with traces of ancient paint. This wasn't just another warrior. This was a commander, a man of authority whose status and influence had been immortalized in clay. Around him stood chariots drawn by 4 life-sized horses, each sculpted with remarkable realism. Their powerful muscles were carved with tension, their eyes filled with the determination of battle. Every detail, the wheels, the harnesses, the reins, was crafted to reflect the strength and speed of a real war chariot. Dr. Lin explained, "We've always believed the terracotta soldiers were based on real people, but this figure, it feels like it captures the presence of someone truly important to the emperor. His discovery changes everything." For archaeologists, this was far more than another impressive statue. It offered a new window into the military structure of the Qin dynasty. The intricate lines on the armor told a silent story. The symbols represented rank, honor, and the immense responsibility of leadership. Reflecting on the moment he unearthed the statue, Jianshu said, "We used to see the army as one unified force. Now we're starting to see individuals, unique faces, distinct personalities, even emotions. This man might have lived, fought, and died for the emperor, and now he rises again." Veteran archaeologist Dr. Wei Zhang, who had worked at the site since the late 1980s, shared his astonishment. "We suspected generals existed among the warriors, but none had ever stood out so clearly until now. This is a breakthrough, not just for the excavation, but for understanding the emperor's vision and his obsession with legacy." As word spread across the globe, museums and historical institutions expressed interest in collaborating with Chinese experts to study the discovery. Although the general would remain in his original resting place, researchers quickly created 3D scans and high-resolution images so that people worldwide could see this extraordinary find. For Dr. Mei Lin and her team, the moment was emotional. "We dig with our hands, yes," she said, "but we also dig with our hearts. This general stood here in silence for over 2,000 years. Now he speaks again, and we are here to listen." This time, the discovery is far more than a simple rediscovery. Scientists are actively involved, and with today's advanced technology, hidden details are emerging. Details that reveal secrets preserved beneath the earth for thousands of years. Technological breakthroughs. Researchers have confirmed that the terracotta warriors were once painted in bright, vivid colors. Centuries underground and exposure to air caused the pigments to fade or peel away, leaving the statues in the muted tones we see now. Using modern imaging tools, like X-ray fluorescence and infrared spectroscopy, scientists detected traces of red, green, blue, and black still clinging to the clay. When these warriors were first buried, they would have looked incredibly lifelike. The weapons found alongside them tell an equally remarkable story. Experts including Dr. Chen Wei and Professor Li Ming examined the bronze swords, spears, and crossbows, and discovered they were produced in a system similar to a modern assembly line. Different parts were crafted in separate workshops and then expertly assembled. This shows that the Qin dynasty wasn't just artistically skilled, they also had highly advanced industrial and organizational abilities. The endurance of the terracotta army is another extraordinary aspect. These clay soldiers survived more than 2 millennia underground, thanks to the protective soil and the precise firing methods used during their creation. Proper firing made the figures strong and resistant to cracking. Still, many statues suffered damage over time from natural disasters, and earlier, less careful excavations, making modern conservation efforts essential. The unopened tomb. Despite all that has been uncovered, the emperor's central tomb itself has never been opened. It has remained sealed for over 2,000 years, keeping its mysteries intact. One major reason is concern for the fragile environment inside. The ancient builders crafted the tomb to be a perfect eternal resting place, but over centuries the conditions have become delicate. Artifacts made from wood, silk, lacquer, and paint might have survived precisely because they have not been exposed to air or light. Opening the tomb too quickly could cause these priceless objects to decay almost instantly, making excavation far more complicated than simply digging. Historical documents also offer clues about what the tomb may contain. They describe flowing rivers of mercury designed to represent real waterways and symbolize immortality. The ceiling was reportedly decorated to mimic the night sky, with stars and constellations painted above the emperor's resting place. Another challenge is the possibility of traps. Tomb raiding was common during the Qin era, and it's believed that the builders installed defensive mechanisms to protect the emperor's remains and treasures. Without fully understanding these ancient designs, opening the tomb could put archaeologists at risk and destroy valuable evidence. Scientists expect that, if the tomb is ever opened, it could contain an extraordinary collection of items: maps of the empire, detailed artworks, rare treasures, and perhaps even written records. These could reveal more about Qin Shi Huang's personality, his beliefs about the afterlife, and his vision for unifying China. Even with the constant temptation to open the emperor's tomb and uncover its long-hidden secrets, experts have always chosen patience. Archaeologists know that rushing could destroy priceless history, so they wait for the right technology, methods that might one day allow robots or advanced imaging tools to explore the interior without causing any harm. Until that moment arrives, the tomb remains sealed, a silent monument to ancient China lying untouched beneath the earth. In many ways, the unopened tomb is both a gift and a warning. It is a gift because of the extraordinary knowledge and artifacts it may hold. Yet it is a warning because it reminds us how delicate history truly is and how careful we must be when trying to bring the past to light. The world watches with growing anticipation, knowing that one day the chamber will be opened. Until then, it guards its secrets as faithfully as the emperor it was built to honor, a timeless echo from a distant age. Cultural impact. The discovery of the Terracotta Army did far more than reveal an ancient burial complex. It reshaped the world's understanding of China's cultural heritage and deepened global appreciation for its history. When the clay soldiers were first unearthed, they immediately captured the imagination of historians, artists, and ordinary people. Their incredible detail and lifelike presence showcased the extraordinary skill and organization of a civilization that flourished more than 2,000 years ago. The impact of this discovery continues to influence culture, education, and national identity across the globe. For the Chinese people, the Terracotta Army quickly became a powerful symbol of national pride. It reminded the nation of its long, unbroken history and the remarkable achievements of its ancestors. The find also highlighted the first unification of China under Qin Shi Huang, a moment many see as the foundation of the modern nation. This renewed interest in the past sparked greater support for archaeology and heritage preservation. Schools began teaching more about the Qin dynasty, and museums dedicated to the Terracotta Army now draw millions of visitors from around the world, spreading awareness of China's ancient legacy. The discovery also deeply influenced the world of art. The incredibly realistic sculptures pushed artists and historians to reconsider how advanced ancient craftsmanship truly was. The Terracotta Army stands as one of the earliest and most impressive examples of lifelike portrait art on such a monumental scale, forever changing how we view ancient artistry. Each warrior's unique face and posture shows these weren't simple decorations. They were crafted as real portraits, reflecting individual identity or the emperor's ideal army. This insight has inspired modern artists to explore themes of identity, power, and memory, blending ancient influences with contemporary creativity. Worldwide, the discovery shifted global archaeological attention toward China. Before the 1970s, most research focused on places like Greece, Rome, or Egypt. The Terracotta Army revealed that East Asia held an equally rich and complex history, leading to more international partnerships, cultural exchanges, and shared research. Its impact also spread into popular culture. Films, documentaries, and books about Qin Shi Huang and his buried army have fascinated millions, blending mystery and history in a way that draws people into China's ancient past. The discovery also emphasized the importance of protecting cultural heritage. Nations around the world strengthened preservation efforts, recognizing that archaeological sites are fragile, irreplaceable windows into human history. On a personal level, the Terracotta Army helps people connect with the individuals behind history. These soldiers were once real men with hopes, fears, and loyalty. Their stories make the past feel alive. In China, this connection encourages people to explore their cultural roots, strengthening identity, and inspiring new generations through festivals, exhibitions, and education. Yet, despite all we've learned, one thing still remains: the enduring mystery that surrounds the Terracotta Army. Even after decades of excavation, the Terracotta Army still protects more than the tomb of China's first emperor. It protects its mysteries. Thousands of silent clay soldiers stand in formation, each with a unique face and story we may never fully know. Their bright original colors have faded, and many details have been lost to time. The greatest mystery remains the unopened central tomb of Qin Shi Huang. Inside may lie maps, treasures, records, or secrets about the emperor's obsession with immortality. Even the warriors' weapons raise questions, crafted with assembly line precision far ahead of their time. How did such advanced techniques develop, and why did they disappear? Every discovery leads to more unanswered questions. Who were the real men behind these faces? What beliefs drove the emperor to build an underground empire meant to last forever? With new technology, scientists hope one day they can explore the tomb safely and restore more of the army's lost colors. Until then, the Terracotta Army remains one of history's greatest unsolved puzzles, an eternal mystery waiting in silence.